Welcome, guys. Van Bourbon Boys here. Serenity Now, Bourbon Later, episode 9, coming at you this week. We're going to be going over the Chinese restaurant of our favorite show, Seinfeld. This is season 2, episode 11. If
Mhm.
you want to roll over to Netflix and check that out, if you haven't seen it before, shame on you because it's one of the best. So let me give you a little teaser for towards the end. Groundbreaking episode, kind of really kind of helped launch the series. They even make fun of it later when they go into do their own pilot. What if they're just people waiting at a restaurant? And they shoot it down like because nothing happens. And I still think it's a fantastic episode. We're also going to be reviewing. John's got the bottle there. Elijah Craig Barrel Select 125 proof. So very heavy, spicy guy. These are called the grenades. If you can tell John's little bottle there, we actually got these special from the distillery. You want to tell them about that, John?
Yeah, so this is when we went and we went up to Kentucky and we did some bourbon hunting and we went to Heaven Hill and Josh knew a guy, as you know a guy, and he said he had something very special for us. And we went and walked the distillery and he had actually s- several of these for us. So we'd scooped these up and never seen them before on the shelves. I'm really excited about it. I like the little higher proof. The bottle's phenomenal. It just has something special to it that it's such a small bottle. So I'm excited.
Yeah, the grenade.
Yeah.
So anyway,
In
but
a
yeah,
shotgun glass.
there you go, in the shotgun glass. Like we were talking about, I love this episode. It's one of my favorites. I'll give a spoiler for future. It's not my favorite, but definitely up there. I just enjoy this episode overall. This episode reminds me of a Broadway play, like a one act, one scene Broadway play. And I think this episode is probably pretty divisive. And of course, I don't know John's score, and we won't know till later. He may be way lower than myself, and that's okay. I think it's very divisive, especially if somebody has never seen Seinfeld before, to watch it and go, "Is this a sitcom?" Because there's not. It's a lot more exposition and not really quick jokes. They're making that one scene count, and so there's a lot of things they have to pull out of just being in that one place. But that's why I really enjoy it. To me, it's like a one act play. And if I went to a theater and saw this as a one act play, I would really enjoy it. So that's why I like this episode a lot.
Yeah, and this wasn't this originally supposed to be their pilot and then later aired as in the season 2?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. And then they thought there wasn't enough to it to be the pilot. And of course, Kramer's not in this one. And I don't know off the top of my head how many Kramerless episodes we have. If you watch our Seinfeld trivia version 3 that we just filmed that we'll be posting, we talk about Jason Alexander only missed one episode. And I'm not sure how many Kramer missed total. I want to say maybe half a dozen. It's not a ton. There are, a few I know he's not in, and this being one of them that there's no Kramer. So I think maybe that's one reason why we didn't have it as the pilot. They wanted to make sure that the Kramer character, or Kessler, as he was known in the pilot, was there.
Yeah, and he also this early on in the show, he didn't really catch on, and I'm sure that once he did, he didn't miss any. We haven't looked into it like that, but he didn't miss any episodes from that point. He's pretty particular, pretty unique, and he's a unique character, and he's pretty famous. People love that show for him and his antics, but nonetheless, it's a type of episode that flows, and maybe Kramer would not have fit. So I think that it's great on its own.
Definitely. And if you know of how many episodes that don't include Michael Richards, let us know below. If you know those Seinfeld trivia questions a little better than we do, then feel free to pop those down there and let us know the answer, so I don't have to go look it up eventually. But the payphone appears a lot in this episode. So we get Jerry in the beginning, right? His jokes are about payphones, and the operator coming on and saying, I need another quarter. And I don't know about yourself, but I remember back in the day where I'd be driving around and I had quarters in the car in case my pager went off. And I had to pull over, and I think I had a cell phone right towards the end of high school, but definitely those middle years of high school, I had the pager, and I had the quarters in the car in case I need to pull over, make a phone call. I'd pull over, gas station, grocery store, whatever, find a payphone and pop the quarter in. I don't remember the operator ever coming on and asking for more money, but I definitely remember having to have the quarter. And I remember when it went up to 35 cents and thinking that's nuts. Like now how much? What I got to have a dime now too? Because put two quarters in there, you're not getting change back out of the payphone. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, then of course in the restaurant there, for some of our younger viewers, that used to be a thing. If somebody's on the one payphone that's there, it's pretty frustrating when you're needing to make a call and you can't even get to the phone. So.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the payphone era. I think a few years younger than you, but nonetheless, I didn't have the need for the payphone. So it didn't really affect me to that degree, but I certainly remember the payphone era. I remember the need to find a phone that you didn't have one readily available like we do nowadays.
Right.
Definitely a different kind of lifestyle.
Right. Getting some nose off the Elijah Craig here. It's got very classic Elijah Craig profile that I'm used to off the
Hmm.
nose. Haven't tasted it yet. Kind of letting it sit here and marinate and get some air. But
Right.
I would know this is an Elijah Craig or a Heaven Hill product pretty quickly off the nose. But yeah, we'll get to tasting it as we
Yeah.
go here. But I'm still kind of let it marinate, taking my time because this is one I've been really excited about that I wanted to try ever since we was that close to a year ago that we embarked on that journey or more now.
I want to say it was over a year ago, and this
Yeah, it
is
was
again,
over.
this isn't. Yeah, it's a bottle we can't find again unless we go up
Right.
there or you really seek it out. So this is unique and pretty special.
Yeah, and like I say, we appreciate you guys joining us on these. We want to do more. Myself and John and possibly a friend or two want to do some trips and film at some distilleries. And we just filmed our first bourbon redemption episode. We're gonna do a few more of those. I'd like to do some of those with the distilleries to go try some of their products, some that we might not have enjoyed the first time around. We also want to do some profiles of some smaller batch distilleries. So stick with us, give us some comments and likes. That's gonna help us out. Everything you can, give us in that vein, and it's all free. Clicking the button's free. So yeah, help us out. Stick with us, and we're gonna do more and more and more. But yeah, we'll talk about that trip a lot we took, and all those distilleries we visited. And but this was a great trip to Heaven Hill, and we got this Elijah Craig out of it. So back to the Chinese restaurant, you got James Hong plays the maitre d, and I don't know if you've seen him before, but he's been in a ton of stuff. He's actually born in the United States to Chinese immigrants. He's 97, still hanging around, still alive. Yeah, but he's been in a ton of stuff. He was actually he won a Golden Globe a couple years ago for Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was a cast ensemble Golden Globe that he won. So the guy's still doing his thing, and he's great in this episode. He's perfect for it. Just that dry humor where I don't really understand what's going on with these people, and but I'm nice. I'm nice. I'm the host, and but yeah, I love his character in this one a lot.
Yeah, I really like I think that he plays it really, really well to that cavalier, just nothing seems to bother him. What's going on, his surroundings, these people want to get a table, what he just kind of he doesn't care. And I think that he's a perfect fit for that role.
There you go. And he actually appeared in The Man from Uncle, which I don't even know what that is, but Jerry mentions in another episode. So a little Seinfeld Easter egg twist of Jerry mentions that show in another future episode of Seinfeld, and James Hong starred in The Man from Uncle. So he was also on Hawaii Five O and a lot of those shows in that time where they would have needed an Asian American actor for. But yeah, he's perfect in this, and I love him. And like I said, he's still hanging around at 97 years old, so good for him. Um, I love Jerry's hang up with the menu, and I really don't understand it because I like looking at a menu before I ever go to the restaurant. And I have a very picky family, as we would say. They like certain things and they like what they like. And I have to kind of make sure that we've got things for all my family members that they enjoy. And so I like looking before I ever go. I already pretty much know what I'm going to order. Don't tell me the specials. I already got it. I'm good to go. Jerry says I can't look at the menu till I'm at the table. And I really don't understand that. Do you? Is that
Well,
your thought or?
I mean, no, I think it fits for Jerry, and I think that's a really, really good point that they do that in the episode. And me, I'm an individual of efficiency. Why would I go to a restaurant if I don't know their menu? That I would want something from their menu, like a prioritized thing, something that entices me. Because I mean, yeah, Chinese food might be unique or the same everywhere, what have you. But I'm one that goes in knowing what I want, just like you.
There you go. So yeah, I don't get why he's got to wait till we get to the table. And of course, with the lane and everything, you think he would kind of go, okay, all right, I'll figure it out. Or it's a Chinese restaurant, Jerry. Like, what are you gonna eat? What are you gonna eat? And I mean,
Yeah,
he talks about George counting. I'm gonna count your shrimps.
yeah,
So evidently, we're already going to get a shrimp dish. I mean, how many different shrimp dishes can we get?
yeah. There's fried rice. There's noodles. Like there, we know we have an idea what there's going to be on the menu. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, and it's New York. This is probably a little more authentic than we're used to, but they're not throwing like bird legs on the table or anything, or what are those 1,000-year-old eggs? Those fermented, those kind of things that I haven't eaten before, but I know of the pure, not American Chinese cuisine. And I mean, I think we're pretty going to be pretty standard stuff. I mean, maybe they're not doing sweet and sour chicken, but how far are we going to go? We going egg foo young, or you know, there's not a whole lot of ways we can go with the Chinese food here, Jerry. So let's figure it out because we got a movie to get to. Anyway,
Yeah, I found
uh,
it very funny to that point because they're trying to really crunch time, and I thought, well, why are you going to a restaurant if you're going to crunch time? Why don't you just go to, say, a burger restaurant, which is an idea posed later? So, it's
What's the
funny.
name of what's the name of the burger restaurant?
Sky Burger.
Sky Burger. Yep, good old Sky Burger. And scarf 'em down, Elaine
Yeah.
wants to do. What do you think of the Elijah Craig? There's a lot of oak on the back.
Hmm.
Since we're 125 proof here, 62.5%. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna reserve some things for a couple minutes, let my palate get used to the spice.
Yeah.
It hits at
It
that
hits.
125. It's
But
there.
it hits so proper. Like, it doesn't, yeah, I don't know how to tell it. Like, it's
No, I like it.
just,
I like it a
it's
lot.
it's phenomenal. It's certainly unique because it's not like this really high spice or this ethanol. It's basically what I would correlate it to is when people say, "Well, do you like spicy food or do you like hot sauce or something?" Well, if you like hot sauce but with purpose, right? It's not like just an
Yeah.
unnecessary heat that's knocking your socks off and is taking away the flavor. This is coming in and it just blends very, very well.
I agree. It's knocking a lot of the notes. I'm not really getting a lot of notes except for the typical vanilla. At the moment, the proof is kind of knocking a lot of those out. But like I say, I got a lot to go here, and we got a good amount of time. So I'm gonna. I think I'll find some more flavor notes as we go. But
Hmm.
I mean, definitely enjoyable. Just don't quite know where I'm at yet. So it is spicy. If you're not used to higher proof stuff, it's spicy, but not in a bad way. I agree with John. It
Yeah.
comes in proper, as John said, which I like a lot. Of course we have the challenge with Elaine, right? So I'll give you with 20 bucks if you go eat an egg roll, right? Yeah.
50.
And I 50 bucks. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, 50 bucks. Yeah. And George, I love George because I'm the same way. I'm very much like George. Don't challenge me because I'm going to do it. And I mean, dude, we're second season here, season 2, episode 11, like we mentioned earlier. So we're 1990, 1991. I mean, 50 bucks, 50 bucks.
Yeah.
That's got to be 150 now, right? I mean,
It's yeah,
that's
when we did the math on the economics there, it was like it'd probably be equivalent to like 115 right now,
I mean, great,
120.
great. Yeah, if you want me to go eat somebody's egg roll for 115 bucks, I'll eat all the. I'll sit down, I'll chat with them, I'll eat all the egg rolls, and then I'll buy him another. Hey, sorry, I ate your egg rolls. Here's another plate of egg rolls. Which she
Yeah,
tries to, let me eat an egg roll, and the voiceovers always bothered me.
me too.
I don't know. I don't think they intention. I don't feel like they intentionally did it. I feel like the people at the table were talking over each other, and they just didn't get quite a good edit. I think Elaine, because she's like has her teeth clenched. I think they always meant to do hers, but I don't know if the rest of them, but it's all voiced over. And of course, we have Larry David. And I think on the podcast, this is our first Larry David appearance. He's one of the old men voices, and he's easy to pick out. You always catch him.
Yeah,
But as far as I remember, I don't think he's appeared yet. Of course, there's a
no.
lot of sneaky ways he's in there, little cameos, little voices. But I think this is probably our first one.
Yeah, and then when she offers, 25 or half of the bribe, because what I was thinking is I would take the 50 bucks or again to on an air, let's say it's $100 nowadays, that $100 is getting you a dinner somewhere else. I would say
Their
I'm
whole
out.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry bought the. I mean, this is New York City. Okay, so could three of us go eat Chinese food in New York City right now for 115 bucks? I think we probably could. You're not gonna go nuts, but I mean, can we get three sweet and sour chickens? Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. So yeah, and of course, George, for 50 bucks, I'll put my face in their soup and blow.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, yeah, don't challenge me because I'll do it because George is like, yeah, let me do it, and of course. Jerry didn't challenge George because he knew
Right. Yeah.
George was going to do it. So he wanted to see Elaine do it. And of course, she screws it all up. And I don't know why she just couldn't pick up an egg roll and eat it and roll
Yeah.
on with life. But, that's her. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be as comedic if she just went in there and grabbed it and walked back out. So
Yeah.
I like her whole thing about the conditions. Like if I didn't put mustard on it or something, and Jerry's like, no, no tricks. Just go eat it. And she couldn't even do that. She couldn't
Yeah.
just pick up the gosh darn egg roll and just do it. So,
Yep.
um, and then we get a good George monologue. Of course, you've had George going through with the payphone saga and all that stuff. And spoiler here, this is not my favorite George monologue of the series. There's lots of good ones. Jason Alexander just kills it when it's time to actually have like a meaningful conversation. He kills it. He flips that switch from the usual George, angsty, nervous, cheap, all those things that George is when he knows he needs to flip it. And so I love the conversation about what happened with him and Tatiana, right? About how he went up to the apartment and they were doing some things and what happened. And that leads me really back to that where this is like a one act play, right? And you sort of feel for him and you don't often feel for George because he just has those qualities that just are kind of inhumane that we don't enjoy. But
Hmm.
this really brings his humanity out. And one reason I really enjoy this episode because he's actually, you've got all this like the payphone stuff, and he's angry, and he asks Jerry if you're gonna be with me if we're getting
If
rumble, right?
yeah, yeah.
And but he brings out that humanity of like, I like this girl and I want to do something with this, but this happened and now I'm trying to get back to it, and it's really frustrating for him.
Yeah, I think that part of this episode with George, Jason Alexander, I think that his acting truly is phenomenal, probably the best on the entire show. But that whole tangent he'd go on about the payphone to me reminded a lot of what, you and I go through day to day. When I leave the house, I got to deal with society now. And that's what
Right.
that whole tangent, that whole episode for Jason Alexander, that thing was about how, society operates amongst each other and how some people are inconsiderate or rude. And I think about that where, you have some people that it's just so relatable, even more so today than it was back then. Cause you look at these shows aired in the 90s, even 80s, where have you, and you think people had some form of social normality, some etiquette amongst each other that we can see is definitely devolving as time is going on. So where it's even more relatable today.
Agreed. And we have the, of course, hilarious situation with the phone call where he leaves her a message and says what restaurant they're at and gives the number and goes to tell the maitre d James Hong about it, and that they're caught right. I think towards the end of the episode they missed a big thing. I think they should have done. I wish they when they reserved the table or everything they would have done it under Costanza, not Seinfeld. And I think at the end of the episode, it would have been a lot better if they had said, if he had said the name for the table and had been Cartwright again, Cartwright for, even though Costanza was written. He Costanza the whole episode. And then at the end, after they walk out and they're gone, and he says the table, Cartwright for, I think that would have been, I think they missed out there, honestly, to bring that
Eh,
joke back.
Yeah, I actually noticed it for the first time recently that they reserve it under Seinfeld, and I thought that was unique because, of course, it stands out so much at the end that you're saying when he calls out for Cartwright. I'm not Cartwright. Well, I know you're not Cartwright, but Costanza. So good point.
Because yeah, there's another episode which we haven't gone through, which is also one of my favorites that has an ending that sort of just is like a little extra, and that they walk out the door. We dealt with this for the whole 22 minutes or whatever that they've been there, and they walk out the door, and it's the instant they walk out the door. They've all given up. They're not going to the movie anymore. George is going to go try to talk, or he doesn't feel like it. I think he's going to go try to talk to Tatiana, who we never hear from again, of course.
Yeah.
Elaine's going to Skyburger. She's starving. And then Jerry's going to go, meet with his uncle because we met whatever her name is from the office. And Lorraine, because it's like Elaine,
Yeah.
Lorraine. And we meet Lorraine. And so, Jerry's, was supposed to go meet his uncle and gave him an excuse because he wanted to see the movie. And then, so, they all go their separate ways. And of course, they walk out the door and then it's Seinfeld 4. So at that point, it could have been like, all right, we're not making the movie, but at least we're going to sit here and eat. And that's the little like comedic extra. But I think him saying caught right would have been even better in my mind.
Yeah. I have a question for you, George. Josh. So,
I did say I was like George early in the episode. So yeah, go
yeah,
ahead for George.
um, so the woman, not the first gentleman, obviously the first woman that gets on the payphone kind of cuts George off. You would probably know because she looked very familiar. Is she the
I
actress from
agree.
Ghostbusters?
I don't think so. No. Are you talking about like the secretary from Ghostbusters?
It's either Ghostbusters or she appears in Seinfeld at some other point. Like, I don't know, but she's so familiar.
I agree. So I won't super mess this up here. But Sigourney Weaver is in, and that she does have that Sigourney Weaver-ish look
Mm,
to her, kind of the
uh-huh.
hair. And so don't if we get this wrong, please. We're Seinfeld somewhat experts, maybe whiskey somewhat experts. I love Ghostbusters, but but yeah, I don't think she appears in Ghostbusters as far as I can remember. But
Well,
I agree.
somebody put down their comment something like,
Please,
figure it out
please.
for us. If you can fill it
Yeah.
in, like, great.
And I do a lot of this is out of my head. Okay. A lot of things we do, guys, are just completely off the cuff. I
Yeah.
rewatch the episode just to reorient myself. But a lot of these things, and honestly, everything I have today, I could have come up with without even rewatching it. Sometimes I catch little things, just not one of those episodes where I caught some little. This is all like I could sit here and go through every little scene in my head and what they say. And I saw her and I thought the same thing. And it's probably just she appeared on other sitcoms throughout that period of time. I don't remember her being on another Seinfeld episode, but she did look familiar. But I didn't go like look it up and find her name and try to figure out where else she
Yeah.
was. James Hong, because I know him, I did go look up, and then that's where I saw The Man from Uncle, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I knew I'd seen him in a lot of other things. I just wanted to get kind of a list, give him a little more credit there because I enjoy him so much in this episode, and was happy to find out he's still living, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. If you know down in the comments, please let us know where else she appears, and if she's in Ghostbusters, maybe maybe she's in Ghostbusters 2, which I haven't seen
Yeah,
in a very
because
long time.
my thought was either like Ghostbusters, yes, like I think you're very accurate with that. It's Sigourney Weaver, or she's in the episode of where it's like the revenge, the red shirt, the chocolate sauce. There's some former girlfriend of Jerry's. There's something there. It could be that. So someone is going to have to help us out in the comments. Help us out. Fill it in there. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, because we do have a lot of characters that reappear, and
Yep.
we'll get to those on our Seinfeld trivia edition 3. Go check that out if you haven't yet. I mentioned Jake Jarmel, and Jake Jarmel is also appears in another episode that we'll get to later. But yeah, that's a good bring up because I just don't remember, but she did look familiar. I agree. When I saw her, she did look familiar. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Our fans here are gonna do that for us. I think they'll
Yeah.
do the detective work for us. But yeah, I'm still hitting up the Elijah Craig here, and I'm trying to get more tasty notes out of it, but it is a little. I think it's a little spicy for me. I don't say that often. I don't say it often, but I think the alcohol is blowing out a little bit of the more subtle things in my mind.
No, I agree very much. That's the point I was going to make as well, because that after drinking several, sips of it, is that it's intrusive to the other notes that could possibly be in there. So when you're starting to do that, it's kind of defeating the purpose. But either way, I still really like it. I think it's unique. It's different.
Yeah. To me, it's a very high powered Elijah Craig. If you enjoy Elijah Craig and you enjoy the Elijah Craig barrel proofs and you want something even a little stronger than that, this is your guy. I think the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, especially the C923, which I don't think you've ever had a pour of, have you, John? I don't think you ever
No,
got to it.
no, I looked after it and I can't find it.
Yeah, we're gonna remedy that. We're gonna remedy that in one of my favorite places there in Northeast Louisville. Next trip we're gonna remedy that and get you a C923. But yeah, it hits a little too hard for me. I'm not sure. I mean, I love the uniqueness of the grenade, and trust me, I love that I have it. And I don't hate it. It's blowing out a lot of those Elijah Craig. I get the nose is there. The nose is the Elijah Craig nose, and
Yeah.
then the front of the palate. And by the time I get to the back of the palate, the alcohol's blowing everything away for me. So
Yeah.
this would definitely be have a couple other pours and then go to this guy because he's a little too spicy for early in the night. I think just
Yeah.
because I can't.
I agree with that. We had that Elijah Craig 18 year that I had. We obviously don't have another one right now to review, but that one, definitely has a better balance to it. It's because it's not such a high proof, but it's
Yeah.
a high age statement, and it has all the flavor profiles. It doesn't knock your socks off like this with the spice, but you know, we'll see where we go with that. I'm gonna have another pour.
There you go. There you go. John's pouring another one, so that's a good sign. I had John's little bottle he gave me there. I actually own this one as well, but John had cracked his, so we shared it up. So and do that with friends. These are on Amazon. John got these heat sink bottles that you can actually seal, which is really cool. I have some other just basic little guys with screw caps, and these also have screw caps, but he actually sealed them for me as well. So if you've got some bottles you want to share and maybe, you don't want to have a big party or anything. You just want to share them around or trade them. I mean, these are great. You can get boxes of them on Amazon and they're great for trading out. So, myself and John, we don't, want to crack both of the same bottles for an episode or something like that. So we've been doing this and it's worked out really nicely. So,
And bourbon is
um,
best shared, my friends.
there you go. There you go. But yeah, that's about all I have for the episode. I mean, like I say, it's not one of those that you're going to get a lot of weird, like little things out of, but I enjoy it as a whole so much. And, it's one of my favorites. We're not going to hit that 10 today for me, but, you want to go and throw out a ratings here for the episode?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kinda cover up the fact or cover the fact. I mean, I agree with you very much that that play aspect of it, because I love the dynamic where you have 2 people having a conversation, and then
Right.
George will come in and he'll just jump in with his conversation, and they continue on. It's very dynamic. They're just it's like a George's conversation so, important to him, he's interrupting, but they're not listening. That dynamic is phenomenal, and I agree with you very much with that. I think that is more artistic with this episode than say many others with its comedic level. But
There you go. So what's your rating for the Chinese restaurant, John?
the restaurant itself, I'm gonna give it 6.4.
Wow. Wow. Okay. We're gonna have a big, probably our biggest gap here on the channel on episode 9. And that's okay. I think this is one of those most divisive episodes where, and John likes it for those parts. For me, it just rings so true. And I'm a big like play guy, Broadway guy. I like that dynamic. And for some reason, this one just hits those notes for me. And if somebody comes to me and says, it's a terrible episode, I can look at them and go, I see where you come. I see where you're coming. Like
Yeah,
nothing actually happens. We're waiting for a table, right? But it just hits so hard for me. So John goes 6-4. I'm going 9-4. 9-4 on yeah, it's one of my favorites, definitely top 5 for me. I picked it because I really enjoy it. I've got a couple episodes that are they're above that I'm hanging on to for now, but this is not going to beat out the roasters for us on a combined score, and that's an okay thing. 6-4, 9-4 is going to put us at 7-9, 7-9 total, very respectable. The Roasters, Kenny Rogers Roasters, is 895, so that's still our number one combined episode. But I think that score difference really highlights, how you might think. And please, guys, if you're watching, give us your scores. Let us know
yeah.
how you feel about the episodes. I'm always willing to talk Seinfeld, and any comments you have, or Josh, you're completely crazy. Why do you think it's a big episode? And John, what are you thinking? Why are you at 6-4? Those are always welcome. So come at us and let us know how you feel. Also, as for the Elijah Craig, one of my favorite distilleries. I love the Elijah Craig line. Of course, you've got the Heaven Hill like 17 year that we tried that was phenomenal. You've got this Parker Heritage that John. We went out to Colorado to one of the best bourbon bars I've ever been to just for the aesthetics. Right, it was in Estes Park at
Oh
the
man.
Stanley Hotel, which is where Stephen King stayed and inspired him to write The Shining. So it's called the Shining Hotel, even though that's not where it was filmed. And we went to the bar there, and that's back when me and John didn't have quite as much knowledge as we have now. And so John went for a Parker's Heritage. I can't remember which even iteration it was. I think you have a
Um,
picture of it.
I do have a picture of it, but I think when we walked in first, looking at the wall, very impressed, in awe, and we
Yeah,
grabbed the menu, and I saw Eagle Rare 17. I asked for it, and I got laughed at.
that they didn't have it. Yep,
I remember
yep.
that. I'm
Even though
like,
it
why
was
is it
on the
on your
menu.
menu then? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple Louisville restaurants that are really really good, like daily at keeping up with their list. They'll have some high end stuff, but this bar was not one of them. They printed it, and if we don't have it, we don't have it. And so, but I think John went through 4 or 5 choices, and we got to the Parker's Heritage, and John had I think $150 pour there, or something like that. It was
It was
pretty high up there,
$175 or something like that, or 250. I
something like
forget.
that.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
find the
yeah,
picture
and
because
he
it's Parker Heritage. I'm trying to find the iteration.
Yeah, and the reason we bring this up is that's Heaven Hill's kind of big one, once a year big release that they do every year called Parker's Heritage. But yeah, there you go. We got the 11-year wheat whiskey. So not even a bourbon, a full-blown wheat whiskey on a heavy char barrel. But yeah, I smelled it. I don't think John shared it with me, but I got a good smell of it. And then the bartender got the last drops out of the bottle because John got the last pour, and she like turned it up and got the last drip, not into his glass, into her mouth,
Yeah.
out of the bottle there of his $150 pour. But yeah, so Elijah Craig, Heaven Hill product, love it. I think this just comes in too high a proof for me. Those barrel proofers are, um, I think closer to probably right around 110, and this it being at 125 is just a little too heavy. They actually just came out. I don't know if we talked about this. They came out with a 15-year single barrel. I believe those are bottled in bond. I believe those are 100 proof, and I'm really interested in those. And those are going to be a little more available than the 18 that you have.
Mhm.
Um, but unfortunately, I'm going to go lower than I wanted to go. I thought we were going to really be coming in hot here, and I'm going to go 6-2.
Ooh,
6-2.
Okay.
I like the flavor that I'm getting, but there's just too much alcohol and just blows it out of there for me. And I'm not. Once again, I want to go back to this at another time where it's not my, first drink of the night, or I haven't had much, or I want to drink a couple other things, and I want to come back to this guy,
Yeah,
take a little of the heat off.
the neck pour, on this little guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I don't get a lot of ethanol in the nose, So excuse me, but yeah, 6.62 is my score. What about yourself?
I enjoy it for what it is. It's definitely one of those. If it didn't have the spice, it would be more like a traditional Elijah Craig, and I think that's what makes it unique. But I enjoy it for what it is. But I'm gonna go 7.9.
7.9, 6.279. So there we go. 8.5. That's 7.05. 7.05 on the John making me do some math. That's okay. 7.05 on the and as you can tell, we don't do these before because otherwise I already know I have to sit here and go carry the one, and 7.05 on the score. So a little lower than I was hoping. And if you see these grenades and want to grab one and try for yourself, I don't know if they're even really producing them anymore. I don't know how hard they are to get, but they say a good product, but not something that's not something that I'm gonna open anytime soon. I'm gonna let it sit up there and be an ornament for the moment, and enjoy the one that John's provided me here. But yeah, Stag still sitting on top with 9.3. Stag Junior, the batch we did, which I don't have the batch. It's sitting right here. Actually, here, let me grab it because I do this all the time in episodes, and I don't tell you what batch it was. So it's right here on the bar. And me and John are going to bring you also. We're going to bring you some bar run throughs to kind of show you what we have, and maybe tell you some stories. And we're going to do those individually. Just those will be coming up too on the channel. We've done some Seinfeld trivia's, Bourbon Redemption, 3-minute bourbon reviews. Come watch. We're doing all kinds of good stuff. If you have any ideas, things you want to see, bottles you're curious about, please let us know. We'll be glad to bring them up, review them, talk about them. But this was 22B. 22B is the batch, which I think is the one we talked about would have been batch 19.
Yeah,
The 18 says junior, and then 19 they ended up changing to
correct.
22B for the year. So this was the second batch from 2022, and that was our 9.3. So that's our top. I was thinking we might have a contender today, but Elijah Craig Barrel Select 125 proof didn't quite get there, but 705 still respectable. So,
Yeah.
but thank you guys again for watching. If you're on YouTube, please go subscribe to our audio versions. Want to hop in the car tomorrow, finish it up? You're like, this is too long. I can't stay here and watch this video. Great, listen to us in the car. Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts. We're on all those. We throw short form on Instagram. So if you're over on YouTube, short videos on YouTube, but also on Instagram. You can follow us. I post clips every day from the podcast. If you just want a quick little minute, little snippet of what we talked about, those are all there for you. So if you don't have anything else today, John, I think that's going to wrap us up for episode 9. Thank you guys for joining us. Please like, comment, let us know what you want us to do next.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
All right. Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. See you next time, buddy.
All right, bye.